Time to dig up the main ideas. I'm Sparky, and we're about to fetch a quick summary of the path to becoming an effective Belizean tour guide. To begin your journey toward becoming a licensed Belizean tour guide, you must first adopt a specific mindset rooted in deep observation and a restless sense of curiosity. This isn't just about memorizing facts to pass an exam. It is about training your brain to see the world differently from the very first day. The instructor emphasizes that learning begins when you make a conscious decision to notice the small things. For example, if you tell yourself that today you will learn exactly which bird is making a specific noise, you start to participate in the environment rather than just existing within it.
By looking closely at birds, noticing their territorial behaviors, or even the detail in their eyes, you realize how much these creatures can teach us about life and survival. This habit of looking closely is what transforms a guide into a smarter, more capable individual. The foundation of this learning process is the National Tour Guide Training Program book. The instructor refers to this manual as your Bible. It is a beautiful resource, but it will only work for you if you commit to it fully. You are encouraged to carry it with you and study it constantly. However, being a great guide requires looking far beyond the pages of a single book. To truly excel, you must stay informed about both local and international events. By watching the news and understanding global history, such as the construction of the Panama Canal or major world events, you ensure that you can hold a meaningful conversation with any traveler. You cannot afford to sit on your hands. You must be active in your pursuit of knowledge so that you can explain the why and how behind everything your guests see. A critical part of this educational process is the humility to ask questions. No one in the world knows everything, and an effective guide is someone who is never too embarrassed to say they need to look something up. If a question arises that you cannot answer, the responsible path is to research it and return with the truth. This course is designed to be a collaborative space where every participant's contribution is valued. If you have knowledge related to a topic, you are encouraged to share it, as that collective wisdom teaches everyone in the room. Ultimately, the instructor challenges you to dedicate yourself fully to this course. It requires discipline and a genuine passion for nature. By focusing on observation and maintaining a high level of curiosity, you are building the character necessary to lead and inspire others in the Belizean tourism industry. Setting the foundation for a successful journey begins with understanding the logistical framework and the standards of conduct expected throughout this course. Our sessions are designed to be intensive, yet accessible for working professionals, running every evening from Monday through Thursday, starting promptly at 6 p.m. and concluding at 9 p.m. We understand that 3 hours is a significant block of time, so we will incorporate breaks to keep everyone fresh and engaged. On Saturdays, our schedule shifts to a more to start at 9 a.m. While the official end time is 4 p.m., the goal is often to conclude by midday once the required material is covered. Occasionally, we may have special sessions or field trips on Sundays. These are planned with inclusivity in mind, recognizing that many of you have work, family obligations, or personal health matters to attend to. We strive to accommodate everyone, but this requires a high level of personal commitment and communication from your side. Attendance is more than just a formality. It is a critical component of your professional development. Because this program is overseen by the Belize Tourism Board, or BTB, your presence is tracked within a larger system. Missing too many classes creates a significant hurdle, as the sequence of presentations and exams is carefully timed. If you fall behind, it becomes difficult for the rest of the class to wait for you to catch up, and it can ultimately jeopardize your ability to graduate or receive your tour guide license on time. Think of these 3 weeks as a dedicated investment in your future career. Within the classroom, we operate on the principle of mutual respect. This is an adult learning environment, which means we treat one another with the dignity and professionalism that the tourism industry demands. You do not need to ask for permission to use the restroom or step out for a moment, provided you do so quietly and without disrupting the lecture or your peers. We encourage a culture of curiosity, where no question is considered too simple or embarrassing. In fact, if you have knowledge or experiences related to a topic, we want you to share them. This collective sharing enriches the learning process for everyone. If a question arises that we cannot answer immediately, we will research it and find the information together. On the administrative side, you will be working closely with Ms. Yovi, who manages the managerial and financial aspects of the course. She is your primary contact for online applications, financial questions, and the distribution of grades. To maintain a healthy and supportive environment, grades are handled individually and privately.
We want to avoid unnecessary competition or friction. Our focus is on ensuring every student reaches the standard of excellence required to become an effective guide. Finally, we must take collective responsibility for our learning environment. We are privileged to use this facility, which is a cultural hub managed by Niche. We report to Ms. Carla, the facility manager, and our continued use of this space depends on our conduct and cleanliness. Every night before we depart, we must ensure the room is spotless. This includes disposing of all trash, ensuring the bathrooms are left clean and flushed, and making sure the windows are locked and the curtains are closed. This sense of stewardship over our surroundings is the first step in taking leadership seriously. By respecting the schedule, the staff, your peers, and the facility, you are already beginning to practice the discipline required to lead guests through the beautiful landscapes of Belize.
In the world of Belizean tourism, your image is your first calling card. It tells the story of your professionalism before you even open your mouth to say hello. The instructor is very clear about this. Discipline starts with how you dress and how you carry yourself. While you might be heading out into the jungle or onto a boat, you are still a professional host representing your country and its culture. The standard for the classroom, which carries directly into the field, is a look that is sharp, clean, and respectful.
This means wearing your designated tour guide t-shirt with pride, but also making sure the rest of your outfit matches that level of care. Whether you are wearing jeans or nice trousers, they should be clean and paired with appropriate boots or shoes that are ready for the day's activities. Think about the small details that make a big difference in how you are perceived. For example, wearing a belt is a simple addition, but it signals a disciplined individual who pays attention to the little things.
When you first meet a guest, one of the most important gestures is the handshake. However, a professional handshake requires you to take off your sunglasses first. Looking someone in the eye shows honesty, builds immediate trust, and shows that you are fully present. For the female guides entering the industry, the emphasis is on professional attire that is practical for the work while remaining modest. The goal is to ensure the focus remains entirely on the cultural and natural information you are sharing, maintaining a respectful environment for every guest you encounter.
Your professional image does not end with your physical person. It extends to everything the tourist interacts with, especially your vehicle. A clean, well-maintained vehicle is a direct reflection of a guide who takes their responsibilities seriously. Interestingly, the instructor points out that even your personal scent matters. While you certainly want to be clean, you should avoid heavy perfumes or colognes. Some guests have allergies or sensitivities, and an overwhelming scent in a closed vehicle can actually make them feel ill during a long drive to an archaeological site.
Being an effective host means being conscious of these environmental factors. Ultimately, this matters because the tourism industry in Belize is deeply connected to national identity. When you step out as a guide, you are an ambassador. If your appearance is messy, a guest might wonder if you are also messy with your safety protocols or your historical facts. A disciplined appearance creates an atmosphere of safety and reliability. It tells the guests that you are prepared, that you respect the industry, and that you respect them.
This level of professionalism is what separates a basic guide from a high-quality professional who leaves a lasting, positive impression. By committing to these standards of dress and conduct, you are setting the stage for a successful career where your appearance matches the excellence of the knowledge you provide. To succeed in this program, it is essential to understand the administrative structure that supports your journey and the high standards expected of you as a representative of the Belizean tourism industry. You are not just here to listen to lectures, you are part of a professional ecosystem. This begins with recognizing the key staff members who keep this course running smoothly and ensuring you know who to turn to for specific needs. Miss Yovi is your primary contact for all managerial and administrative aspects of the course.
She handles the online components, manages financial matters, and serves as the direct link to the Belize Tourism Board, or BTB. When your exam results are ready, it is Miss Yovi who will receive them from the BTB and distribute them to you individually. This process is kept private to maintain a respectful environment and ensure that each student focuses on their own personal progress, rather than comparing scores or fostering unhealthy competition. If you have questions about your standing, your grades, or the technical requirements of the program, she is the dedicated professional you need to coordinate with.
Beyond the administrative side, you must also be mindful of the physical space you occupy. This classroom is located within the Culture Unit building, which is owned and managed by Niche. The person in charge of this facility is Miss Carla, and it is to her that the class must report regarding conduct and cleanliness. As guests in this space, every student carries a collective responsibility for maintaining the cleanliness and security of the building. This is not just a set of rules, it is a practical exercise in your leadership and professional conduct.
If you aspire to lead tours across the most sacred and beautiful sites of Belize, you must first demonstrate that you can take care of your immediate environment here in the classroom. This means paying attention to the small but vital details every single night. Leadership starts with simple, disciplined actions, like ensuring no trash is left behind and that the bathrooms are treated with respect. You are expected to ensure toilets are flushed and no paper is left on the floor or in the stalls. It is about having a mindset of stewardship and showing respect for the facility managers who allow us to use this space.
Security is equally critical to the success of this course. You are responsible for ensuring all windows are double-checked and locked using the specific button system. You must make sure that all the curtains are closed properly before you depart. If you are the last to leave, the keys must be placed exactly where they belong, left on the table so they are ready for the morning staff. By taking these daily responsibilities seriously, you demonstrate the discipline, pride, and respect for property that characterizes a truly effective tour guide.
You are training to be a professional, and that training starts the moment you walk through the door and continues until the final light is turned off and the building is secured for the night. Following these procedures ensures the safety of the facility and the longevity of the program for future guides.
As we move into the first module of this course, we focus on what it truly means to be an effective tour guide. There is a significant difference between simply being a guide and being an effective one. An effective guide does not just recite facts. They understand the core responsibilities of the profession and the underlying reasons why people travel in the first place. The tourism business is fundamentally based on fulfilling specific human needs and creating profit through the delivery of exceptional services.
To be successful, we must aim to exceed the expectations of our customers at every turn. Great tourism experiences are the foundation of long-lasting positive memories, and those memories are what drive the long-term success of the Belizean tourism industry. To achieve this level of effectiveness, you must adopt the concept of the blueprint. Think of a tour like a building designed by an architect. Before a single brick is laid, there is a detailed plan. As a guide, you must create a mental blueprint before every trip. If you are taking a group to a site like Cohort, you shouldn't just show up and figure it out as you go. You need to sit down and consider the logistics. How should you dress? What supplies are necessary? What will you talk about along the drive? Once you arrive, how will you navigate the site to tell a compelling story? You have to guide yourself first by being organized and mentally prepared. This requires constant study and research. You must never have the attitude that you know everything just because you finished a course.
An effective guide is a lifelong student who constantly refines their knowledge of history, nature, and culture. Understanding tourism also means recognizing it as a series of emotional stages, much like attending a major football game. It starts with discovery, where the traveler gets excited about the reputation of Belize and its people. Then comes the preparation and planning stage. The most critical part, however, is the actual experience. This is where your personality and professional conduct come to the forefront. Your responsibility starts the moment you meet your guests. You should present a disciplined image with a clean vehicle and professional attire. Small details matter, from a genuine smile and a firm handshake to ensuring your vehicle is comfortable and free of overwhelming scents that might bother guests. Finally, there is the stage of remembering. In our modern world, the internet and word of mouth are the most powerful forms of advertisement. If you are well prepared and attentive to the needs of your guests, you create exceptional memories that will be shared for years. If you are unprepared or unprofessional, those negative experiences will also be shared, damaging the industry. Being an effective guide means taking leadership of the entire experience to ensure that every visitor leaves Belize with a deep appreciation for our country. One of the most powerful concepts you will encounter in this journey toward becoming a professional is the idea of the tour guide's blueprint. Think about how an architect works. When someone wants a house built, the architect does not just start stacking blocks or pouring concrete at random. They sit down and define the specific dimensions, perhaps 20 by 30 feet. They decide on the style of the roof, the placement of the rooms, and the materials required. This is the blueprint, a detailed, organized plan that guides every single action from the foundation to the final coat of paint. As an effective tour guide, you must approach your profession with that same level of structural discipline. Before you ever step foot on a bus or greet a group of visitors, you need a mental blueprint of exactly how that experience is going to unfold. Take a trip to a massive archaeological site like Karakol, for example. An effective guide doesn't just show up and wing it. The blueprint process starts much earlier, often the night before or even days in advance. You have to sit down and consider the logistics. What specific equipment do I need to pack? How should I dress to ensure I am professional yet prepared for the rugged terrain? What will we do along the way to keep the energy high? Once you arrive at the site, your mental blueprint dictates the flow of the tour. You should not be wandering aimlessly. You need to know which temples to show first, how to transition between the complex history of the Maya and the surrounding natural history, and how to guide your guests safely through the plazas. The goal is to have this organization so deeply ingrained that it becomes invisible to your guests. Imagine how it looks if a guide has to pull out a piece of paper and say, "Excuse me, everyone, let me check my notes to see where we are going next." That is not the image of a disciplined professional. You want to be so well prepared that the tour feels seamless and natural. This requires rigorous study and mental rehearsal. You must learn the tour inside and out before you ever lead it. If you are heading to a location tomorrow that you haven't visited in a while, the blueprint requires you to do your research today. You might even need to visit the site beforehand to ensure everything is in order. Perhaps a trail has been washed out by rain, or a new regulation has been put in place. If you do not educate yourself and adapt to those changes, your blueprint becomes outdated, and your effectiveness as a guide suffers. Effective guiding is a constant blend of practice and study. It is about creating a mental map so clear that you can navigate any challenge with confidence. This mental organization is what truly separates a basic tour guide from an effective one. It is the difference between just providing information and providing a curated, world-class experience. By committing to this level of preparation and mental organization, you ensure that you are never caught off guard. Every visitor should leave Belize with a sense of awe, knowing they were in the hands of a true expert who had a plan for every step of the journey. This blueprint is your foundation for success in the tourism industry. To truly master the craft of guiding in Belize, you must immerse yourself in a curriculum that is as diverse as the country itself. This program is built around the National Tour Guide Training Book, which serves as your essential manual for professional growth. We begin by exploring the complex layers of Belizean history and culture. Because Belize is home to a variety of ethnic groups, including the Yucatec Maya and many others, a guide must be a student of sociology as much as history. The instructor emphasizes that you should not only look inward at our local heritage, but also outward at the world. By staying current with international news and historical milestones like the construction of the Panama Canal, you gain the perspective needed to connect with visitors from every corner of the globe.
You are not just presenting facts, you are providing a bridge between our local reality and the global experience. A significant portion of our study is dedicated to the world of the Maya and archaeology. We look at the majesty of sites like Karakol and Sunantunich, exploring the architectural genius and social structures of the ancient Maya. It is important to remember the instructor's advice that this course provides the foundation, but the learning never truly ends. Archaeology is a living science in Belize, and becoming an effective guide means attending symposiums and keeping up with new discoveries. This dedication to constant study ensures that your tours remain fresh, accurate, and deeply engaging for guests who are often well-read and eager for authentic insights. We then transition into the natural history of Belize, which is the study of everything from the soil beneath our feet to the expansive beauty of the Caribbean Sea. This includes a detailed look at our flora and fauna, such as the intricate root systems of our inland trees and the vital role of mangroves along our coastlines. You will learn how these systems interact to protect our environment and support the life cycles of countless species. This scientific knowledge allows you to explain the mechanical and biological reasons behind the scenery, helping tourists appreciate the delicate balance of our ecosystems. The curriculum also demands physical readiness through the study of basic swimming and water safety. Since so much of Belizean tourism revolves around the water, from our winding rivers to the Great Blue Hole, water safety is a non-negotiable skill. The course ensures that every guide, regardless of their starting level, understands the safety protocols required to protect guests. Whether it is through specialized training or mastering water rescue techniques, your ability to provide a safe environment is what builds the trust necessary for a successful tour. By combining historical knowledge, scientific understanding, and practical safety skills, you develop the mental blueprint required to lead with confidence and professionalism. This comprehensive approach ensures you are prepared for the diverse interests of your guests, whether they are birders, history buffs, or adventure seekers. In any successful training program, the people in the room are just as important as the textbook. As the students began their introductions, it became clear that this cohort represents a massive wealth of knowledge and an incredibly diverse range of motivations. We heard from seasoned veterans who have already spent decades in the hospitality and service sectors. For instance, Henry brought 11 years of experience from his village, fueled by a deep passion for sharing local history and a specific love for birding. Then there was Canto, who has spent 20 years in the industry, transitioning from roles as a waiter to working in forestry, illustrating that the path to guiding is often a journey of continuous evolution. Perhaps most impressive was the student who recently retired after 30 years in the international cruise industry. Having traveled the world over, he is now focusing his skills locally to support his wife's lodge and the public island where she works, proving that the desire to learn and contribute to Belizean tourism never truly fades, regardless of how much of the globe you have already seen. Beyond these professional backgrounds, many students are using this course as a vehicle for personal transformation and growth. We met Monica, who has 5 years of experience in the industry, but felt she was being far too limited when interacting with guests. She realized that to truly excel and provide a premium experience, she needed a much deeper foundation of knowledge to answer the complex questions tourists often ask. Then there is 17-year-old Amira, who candidly shared that she is naturally a very shy person. For her, training to become a tour guide isn't just about finding a career, it is about building her character and finding the confidence to break out of her shell. The instructor emphasized that this classroom is a perfect environment for that kind of development, noting that by the end of the program, her shyness would likely be replaced by professional poise. This highlights that the tourism industry is a powerful tool for human development, helping individuals push past their personal barriers.
The common thread connecting every participant, however, is an undeniable love for the country of Belize and its natural wonders. Students like Corey, Fan, and Alan joined specifically because of their connection to nature and a desire to better understand and teach others about the diverse attractions the country offers. Others, like Luthen and Rodriguez, are following in the footsteps of family members, seeking to grow their own family businesses or build on the professional legacy of their siblings.
There is a strong sense of community pride in the room, with participants from various villages eager to take what they learn and become experts on the specific flora, fauna, and history of their home regions. Even those already working in the field, like Jason, who serves as a resort project manager and assistant, see this as an essential step to formalize their knowledge. As the instructor noted, this unique blend of experienced professionals, career changers, and eager newcomers creates a vibrant and high-quality classroom environment.
It is a group that respects different backgrounds and cultures, all united by a singular, powerful goal: to become the most knowledgeable, disciplined, and effective ambassadors for the Belizean experience.
At its core, the tourism industry is far more than just a series of sightseeing stops or logistical arrangements. It is a business built entirely on the delivery of services that fulfill specific human needs. To be an effective tour guide in Belize, you must understand that every visitor arrives with a set of expectations, and your primary goal is to not only meet those requirements, but to consistently exceed them. This is the secret to long-term success. When a guest feels that their needs have been truly understood and prioritized, it creates a long-lasting positive memory.
In the modern world of travel, these memories are the most valuable currency we have. They translate into word-of-mouth recommendations and positive online reviews, which are the primary drivers of a successful, sustainable tourism business. Think about why people travel in the first place. We can categorize travel into two main buckets: obligatory and non-obligatory. Obligatory travel includes things like medical emergencies, business trips, attending conferences, education, or visiting family for significant events.
In these cases, the traveler might be under stress or traveling out of necessity, but they still have a need for comfort and efficiency that must be satisfied. On the other hand, the successful guide acts as a facilitator for these human experiences. This process starts with the very first interaction. Imagine meeting your guests with a genuine smile, a professional appearance, and a clean vehicle. This immediately sets a tone of safety and competence. If your vehicle is well maintained and your personal presentation is disciplined, you are already beginning to exceed the basic expectation of simple transport. You are signaling to the guest that you care about their comfort and their safety. You must also be conscious of the small details, such as ensuring your vehicle is clean and free of overwhelming scents that might trigger allergies. These subtle touches show that you are thinking ahead to protect the well-being of your clients. Furthermore, the industry today is heavily influenced by the digital world. Every experience, whether it is exceptional or poor, can be shared with thousands of potential travelers instantly. If a guide is unprepared, uses poor equipment, or ignores the personal interests of the group, those negative details will be remembered and recorded online. However, if you take the time to learn your guests' names, understand their specific passions, and provide a service that feels personal and sincere, you build a reputation that sustains your career for years to come. Success in the Belizean tourism industry depends on this ability to connect with people on a human level and ensure they leave our country feeling that their needs were not just met, but truly honored. Long-term success is the result of these small, consistent efforts to go above and beyond what is simply required. To wrap up our look at the path to becoming an effective tour guide, we must examine the internal drivers that bring people to our shores. Abraham Maslow, a renowned psychologist, proposed a hierarchy of needs that explains human motivation as a series of steps, much like the rungs of a ladder. In the world of tourism, this hierarchy is not just a theory, it is the foundation of the entire industry. As a guide, your role is to identify where your guests are on this ladder and help them climb toward a fulfilling and memorable experience. At the very base of the ladder are physiological needs. These are the absolute essentials for human survival, such as food, water, and protection from the elements. In the context of a Belizean tour, this translates to the quality of the restaurants you select,
the availability of clean water on a hot hike through the jungle, and the comfort of the accommodations where your guests spend their nights. If a guest is distracted by hunger or physical discomfort, they will never be able to focus on the history or beauty of a Maya temple. Once those basics are met, we move to safety needs. Travelers need to feel secure in an unfamiliar environment. They must have the assurance that there are systems in place to manage risk. This is why it is so important to provide properly serviced equipment, clean and operating vehicles, and to follow food safety protocols. When you present a disciplined image and a professional demeanor, you are fulfilling this vital requirement, allowing your guests to relax and enjoy the journey. Moving higher, we encounter belongingness and love needs.
Humans are social creatures who often travel in families, couples, or church groups to feel connected to others. As a professional host, your genuine attitude and hospitality are what satisfy this need. By creating an atmosphere where guests feel welcome and accepted, you facilitate the social bonds that lead to lifelong memories and positive word of mouth for your business. This is closely followed by esteem needs, which involve feeling respected and valued. An effective guide adapts the tour to the individual, recognizing that special needs are not just about physical accessibility, but also about honoring a guest's specific passions, whether they are an expert birder or a history enthusiast.
The final rungs of Maslow's ladder include cognitive, aesthetic, and self-actualization needs. Cognitive needs drive visitors to Belize to seek knowledge and exploration. They want to understand our complex archaeology and diverse natural history, which is why your constant study and preparation are so crucial. Aesthetic needs are met through the beauty of our landscapes and the symmetry of a well-organized tour. Finally, we reach self-actualization, where a traveler realizes their own potential or experiences a sense of spiritual connection.
Whether it is through a quiet moment in the rainforest or a deep reflection on the interconnectedness of nature, helping a guest reach this peak is the ultimate goal. By understanding this hierarchy, you are not just leading a trip, you are fulfilling the deep-seated human needs that make travel truly meaningful.